Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the Rules Committee. Alderman Fisk, who is the chair, is not with us this evening, so I will do this in her stead. Do we have any citizens' comments?
Elder, can you check? I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 6, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Are there any additions, deletions? Alderman Rainey?
Yes, I'm here to plead guilty to failing miserably. I said I would come up with a Preservation Commission applicant within 2 weeks, and I failed. So I'm just admitting it, that's all. I'm still looking at it.
Oh, okay. If there's nothing else, all in favor? Any opposed? Next on our agenda is the reports, the annual reports from the boards and committees. City Manager.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee, good evening. You have before you the annual reports of your boards and commissions. If you recall, at the end of last year, you asked that we come up with a schedule for these reports, which we did. You also asked that we bring those back to the appropriate standing committees of the council for review, and then at a recent meeting, these reports were referred back to the Rules Committee. Ilda Capricioso, the Assistant to the City Manager, is here. She has been very diligent over the last a year or so since we've been before you, working with the boards and commissions, and I would ask Ms. Capricioso to perhaps talk a little bit about the work we've done, the training, the meetings with the chairs, as well as the training that we did. I guess it was late spring for all the members, as well as the video. So, Ilda, good evening.
Sure. Again, Ilda Capricioso, Assistant to the City Manager. Good evening, Committee Chair, City Manager Bobkowitz, and the full committee. Just very briefly, so since last year, we've taken some steps to improve communication between the boards and commissions, staff, and the City Council. We did assign liaisons from the City Council to each of the boards and commissions and committees. In addition to that, we asked and worked with the committee liaisons to ensure that every board and group member was receiving e-news and associated e-newsletters from the city, so they were up to speed with what was happening in relation to their area that they cover. We also provided them an electronic version of the handbook. And then we also provided them some on-site training just to cover various Open Meetings Acts, the general role of the boards and commissions, and any other requirements that are legal requirements that they are required to fill out. And then we did videotape that particular training session, and so that is available online for any boards and committee members who are unable to attend that training. And then in addition to that, as City Manager Bobkowitz mentioned, was the inclusion of an annual report that each of the committees submitted. So that is in your packet before you. And I think it was a good exercise for each of the committees to go through and to provide that as well. One last thing, we are in the process of doing meetings with the board chairs, with the city manager, and so we had an initial meeting last week with some of those members, and then we will have another one tomorrow evening as well. So, and that's just sort of an annual check-in with the city manager and with staff to take back anything to the liaisons and continue to improve the process.
Alderman Grover.
Chair, and thank you, Ms. Capricioso. So the meetings for the chairs of our boards, commissions, and committees will happen regularly because the chairs themselves kind of cycle through the position.
So the meeting that we have, you mean the chairs meetings that's happening
Chairs
right
meetings,
now?
Right.
Yeah,
Will we do that, every year, every 6 months to make sure we capture whoever the current chairs are?
I think we schedule it for annually.
Annually.
So,
That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm really impressed with always the number of people from the community who serve on our boards, commissions, and committees. It's how many? Do you have a total number of?
Oh. I don't have a
Of our
total.
It's
volunteer
over
public-
400.
Yeah, I mean.
Say that again?
It's between 350 and 400.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive. So here are my thanks to all those people,
Right.
what that's worth.
I only have one question. Will the staff person that's assigned to the committees or the boards contact then the Alderman liaison to let them know when there's going to be a meeting, or is that on us to figure that out?
I think we can have the staff reach out to you just to notify you about the meetings. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Mayor Tisdall.
It says, in August 2015, staff will begin coordinating meetings with the mayor and the chairs of the appropriate standing committees. Did that somehow?
We haven't done that yet. So we'll also continue to do that before the end of the year. Yes.
And Madam Chair, members of the committee, the reality is that we have probably about 10% of Ms. Capricioso's time to coordinate, facilitate the work that we've just described. Ms. Francelno does an excellent job as far as the recruitment and the onboarding of members to boards and commissions. So it's been difficult for us to apply additional staff time. Just the sheer numbers of boards and committees, just trying to coordinate meetings of the city staff that coordinate our boards and commissions is a difficult task. So we certainly could be doing better. I don't know that it's the best use of our resources to apply additional staff time to this, but with Ms. Capricioso's departure at the end of October, we will make sure that the work continues to get done. But just want to be honest and frank that it's difficult given the amount of staff resources we have.
Well, I would suggest you could just tell me when the staff is meeting with the boards and commission chairs, and I could come.
And again, just try to be respectful of time and schedules, and so we'll happy to do that in the future.
And again, I'm going to say, I know it'll be not something that people like, but can we think about again combining some of these commissions and committees, because there are a lot. And I just think that is something, when we talk about staff time and resources, that's something that we should just bring up every once in a while, because I still think it's worth looking at.
Agreed.
Alderman Miller.
Just wanted to say that I agreed with the chair.
Okay, thank you.
And Madam Chair, members of the committee, we periodically check in with other communities of like size and like communities engaged, and I don't know that we have found a community with more than 20. So we are more than double the Palo Altos and the Pasadenas and the Madisons and the Austins, those other communities that we like to look to as being engaged and active, Cambridge, and we have yet to find anyone quite to the level and extent that we have. Again, community standards are what they are. There have been some small progress this past year. The Arts Council and the Public Art Committee combined, and the world's moving forward. So I think that there's certainly opportunities to do more of this. We certainly, the Mental Health Board and the CDBG committee are working together with their allocation process, and every indication is that that's going well. Again, the boards remain separate. So I think at this committee's direction, since the Rules Committee has jurisdiction over the boards and commissions, we'd be happy to come back with some ideas at your direction.
Well, I just want to keep it on the table. I just want to keep the thought on the table because, as I said, I am thinking that it's just absolutely a lot of committees and boards. Alderman Grover.
Well, how about we just keep it on our agenda for future business, is consideration of consolidation of some of our boards, commissions, and committees. Also want to say, looking at the website with the links to those boards, commissions, it's nice to have then a separate column with a link to whether each or an individual board, commission, or committee is accepting applications for new members. So that's new since the last time I was there. Although it includes DAPR.
We'll make sure to update the webpage.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
And Madam Chair, there are several
Yeah.
board and commission chairs present this evening. I don't know if you want to have an opportunity to at least have them introduce themselves, or if there are any questions that they have. Perhaps they could just come to the
Comments?
podium and say hello and say which board and commission they're here representing. There's
Yeah,
at least
would you
two
all
or
please
three.
do that? We'd appreciate it. And I'm sure the community would. So we ask you to come to the podium because otherwise you won't be televised.
Hi, I'm Diane Williams. I'm the chairman of the Preservation Commission, and pardon me, I have a cold. Hi, I'm Sue Calder, and I'm chair of the Housing and Homeless Commission.
Hello, my name is Charles Smith. I'm the chairman of the Ladd Arboretum Committee.
I'm Jane Wickenkamp. I'm chair of the Commission on Aging.
I'm Jim Ford. I'm chair of the Plan Commission. While I have you all here, I just want to say a word in support of the staff. The folks who staff us from the Development Department are really good. We love them greatly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Anyone else? If not, we just all, on behalf of the whole council, we say thank you for all your service. Is there any new business, City Manager?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee, you may have heard, but the Chicago Cubs are going to be in the postseason, and it's been in all the newspapers. But several of you have heard from residents concerned that the games are going to only be on cable, and that there are some longtime Evanston residents who do not have access to cable, and they have expressed concern as to what we can do to be helpful so that if they wish to watch at least this first game on Wednesday evening, that they'd be able to. So what we've arranged is we've arranged two viewing areas, one at the Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center and the other at the Levy Center. So residents that would like to come and watch the Cubs and the Pirates, the game starts at 7 o'clock. We'll have facilities available, I believe, in the at the Levy Center. We'll be in the lobby area, and there'll be a television set up that will tune to TBS, the cable network that's covering the game, and then at Fleetwood Jourdain
Is in there.
in the auditorium at Fleetwood Jourdain. So we're not quite sure. Again, we've heard from a couple of you, so certainly there are some individuals who this will fulfill a need for. As we work our way through the World Series, as we need to make adjustments to the viewing, we will, but at least for starters, we'll start with those two locations. So Mr. Smith can hopefully help us publicize that to the community. We'll put things up on social media. A lot of folks who perhaps don't have cable are perhaps also not the ones that were reading Evanston Now or on social media, but we'll do our best with word of mouth, and people can come to both Fleetwood and the Levy Center Wednesday evening to watch the Cubs game.
Okay, will we have some kind of notice also from the city? I know that we can send out an email to our email list.
We certainly can.
That would be helpful as well.
Put signs up at both Fleetwood and Levy Center?
We could, and Mr. Dornicker, the interim director of Parks, Recreation, Community Services, is here, and I'm sure we can put signs up on both facilities. And if you like, we can do a special e-news
Yeah, an e-news would be nice.
update so that people are aware of that. So I will work with staff to get that out tomorrow morning.
Fantastic. Thank you. I know some of the residents, because I did receive emails, would be happy about that. Great.
No,
Anything else? If there's no other business, then is there a motion to adjourn? I believe Alderman Wilson has the
We need to
order.
I do.
order the city council.
So move that the city council be called to order or convened. I'm not sure who would.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want, I'd like to call this council meeting to order. And do we need to do a roll call, Wally? Oh, I'll
Sure.
do.
Alderman Braithwaite? Alderman Wilson?
Here.
Alderman Holmes?
Here.
Alderman Tendam? Here. Alderman Grover? Alderman Rainey. Alderman Miller.